Are you ready? Hey.
Welcome, ladies and gents, to the most must-see podcast in wrestling history. Welcome to PWC, and we've got the Rumour Mill, baby! It is the Rumour Mill here on PWC, and we've got all the rumors, gossips you guys want for the week of wrestling. We'll cover every aspect of whatever the big top stories are. So let's get straight into it. Let's not dabble. Let's not talk about it. Let's not digress. Straight into it with WWE and NXT. And it seems like WWE main roster Raw and SmackDown is plucking a lot of the female talent out of NXT and bringing them to the main roster. We've already seen Shotzi and Knox, and we've got the vignettes that Toni Storm is joining SmackDown. We now need the Raw side needs to be filled out, and there's rumors going around that there's 3 superstars that could be making their way into the red brand of WWE. The first one, which is a bit of a surprising one for me, is Aaliyah. Now, we saw in NXT she had a bit of a breakup with Robert Stone, and it seems like she is headed on the way to the main roster. She has been part of NXT since 2016, and only I'd say about 2018 she started getting a little bit more TV time. She got through the development. She was on that show, Breaking Ground, back on the WWE Network, and there was even questions then that she might not be able to make it. Obviously, WWE still see something in her and have spoken of, so she looks like she could be coming up into Raw. The other two superstars rather going into Raw that we've heard rumors about is the likes of Indy and Candice LeRae. Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae could be coming up, and I don't want to see those two coming up to the main roster. I know that sounds bad because, you know, the main roster is supposed to be better, you're supposed to be getting more money and all that sort of stuff, and it's great for them, but we've seen how they treat the main roster NXT call-ups, and I don't want to see the end of the way unless they're bringing Gargano and Austin Theory back into the mix on the main roster. That'll be fantastic, but I want to see the way as it is right now, and they have the opportunity to bring them all up because none of them have belts anymore, so there is that option. So let's see what happens with that. Sticking with WWE, and for this one, we just a couple of things about former wrestlers, if you remember them. Reckoning and Slapjack, they were part of that, I don't want to call them a faction, because they really weren't. They were just, I don't know, it could have been a much better thing, but it was Retribution, and of course, Reckoning being Maya Yim, and Slapjack was Shane Thorne. Both of them are going back to the original names. And it seems like Thorne will be moving back to NXT quite shortly, with Maya Yim being reintroduced to the Raw audience quite soon. And speaking of Maya Yim, her fiancé, the limitless Keith Lee, where has he been? We don't know. We still have no idea why he hasn't been on TV for basically, I think it's since Elimination Chamber he's been out, just before the pay-per-view. So since February, around there, that we haven't seen Keith Lee at all. But according to reports, it seems that Keith Lee is set for return to Monday Night Raw in front of a live audience, whether it happens at Money in the Bank or after Money in the Bank, maybe building up to SummerSlam. We will see. According to the rumors, he will be entering a program with the Celtic Warrior Sheamus over the US title. And speaking of returning superstars, we're getting another one in the likes of Becky Lynch. It's been confirmed that she is cleared to wrestle. She has been training in the PC for well over a month now with her husband, Seth Rollins. And it seems like the two of them are now getting back on track. And we're going to be seeing Becky Lynch on Raw. So they are going to be splitting husband and wife for now. And again, they're waiting for the right time. Live audience, whether it be Money in the Bank. I personally thought she might get the last spot in the women's Money in the Bank match, but that obviously went to Tamina. I don't know why, but they had an opportunity to do it there and they didn't. Also, another superstar that is due for returning in front of a live audience is none other than Sasha Banks. Now, Sasha Banks has been away from WWE since WrestleMania after filming a couple of series and movies, is what we're told. But she is due to come back in time for SummerSlam, and I think we're going to have the Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks rematch come SummerSlam. Switching gears a little bit now, we're moving into Impact Wrestling, rather, and it announced that Brian Myers and Tenille Dashwood will take on Matt Cardona and a mystery opponent at Slammiversary. Now, this surely shouldn't come as a surprise to literally anyone. It is not surprising news, but the rumor is Matt Cardona's secret partner is none other than his wife, formerly known as Chelsea Green. She had a long stint in NXT as Leah Van Lerich, I think, something like that. I can't remember her name now. It was Leah. I mean, she was a knockouts champion. She was probably one of the best knockouts at a stage. She had a little crazy persona with makeup going crazy. It was quite fun to watch. And again, if this happens, none of us will be surprised. I mean, let's face it. She's married to Matt Cardona. Her 90 days clause ends just 2 days before Slammiversary. It makes 100% sense that she'll probably debut on there. And another group who is rumored to have signed a contract with Impact Wrestling and could be making their debut soon on the Access TV show, and that is none other than Iconic. It is the Iconics, formerly known as Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, Jessica Kay and Casey Lee. That's what they're going as now. So that'll be quite interesting to see. I'm excited to see the Iconics, if they come back as a tandem or if they're going individually. Of course, this is just rumors. That's what's going around. And lastly, speaking of potential massive superstars announcement, AEW, the dirt sheets, let's call them that, have announced that AEW have a very, very big superstar that they're going to announce in the upcoming weeks. According to reports, it's bigger than El Idolo, Malachi Black, Mark Henry, Christian Cage, and Paul Wright combined. Now, when you hear that, there's only one name that comes to mind. Yes, yes, yes. Daniel Bryan, formerly known as Daniel Bryan. Let's go with what he would probably go as on the things. I think it was Bryan Danielson. That's what he used to go on the Indies or the Ultimate Dragon. Let's see what he picks. But yeah, his 90-day clause has come to an end a long time ago. His contract expired with WWE. He's not renewed his contract. And it seems like AEW will be his next destination. If they do manage to get him and they do announce him, it is yet another WWE star that got onto AEW, but it is yet another big signing that they've picked up. Now, I'm not against them picking up WWE superstars. I mean, if you take them and you make them into a better product, then why not? I mean, let's face it, you're a company. If someone's a free agent, you're going to take it. And if you have the funds and the capabilities of making that person come over to you, it just makes 100% sense, correct? I mean, if you're a company and you've got guys like Malachi Black and El Idolo and Daniel Bryan all sitting on the sidelines as free agents, I'm going to sign them. I don't care what company they came from. The difference is using them correctly in building your product. It is smart from AEW to pick up not every single superstar that's coming out of WWE, but picking ones that they can build their brand on. And if you look at their structure right now, they're not heavily focused on former WWE stars. And when I say stars, I mean guys who are on the main event sides. They were winning titles. If you look at the mid-card of AEW, it's built around guys who were basically mid-carders in WWE as well. Yes, they've got guys like the Good Brothers coming in there, Chris Jericho, but they're using them correctly, which is a very, very important thing to realize the difference between AEW and WCW, what they were doing back in the 90s. WCW was taking all of WWE's stars and putting them as stars and not developing their mid-card level, whereas AEW are taking the former big names, guys like Chris Jericho, Mark Henry, Christian Cage, Matt Hardy, and they're putting them in roles to develop the other younger talents. I mean, Christian Cage is basically on his own right now, getting the Jurassic Express over. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy are heavily getting a good rub from him. Same with Matt Hardy and the Hardy compound. It is helping them a lot. And I feel like they're doing this correctly. So well done to them. From me, though, your mother's favorite podcaster, Vaz. Till next time, remember to always click subscribe and notify to tell your parents, grandparents, lovers, haters, whoever you like. We're right here on YouTube, PWC channel. Thanks very much for this podcast. And remember to leave your comments down below if you agree with anything or you disagree with anything, or if you know of any rumors that we haven't spoken about. Please, guys, pop us a message. For me, peace and chicken grease.